Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first webinar of our WEkEO Essential series. My name is Marine. I'm a Training and Capacity Development Officer at Mercator Océan International, and I'll be one of your hosts today. Over the course of this series, we'll go over key aspects of the WEkEO platform, and today's session, Explore Copernicus, will introduce you to Copernicus WEkEO and some of the valuable tools the platform offers. Before we begin, let's quickly go over some house rules to make sure you enjoy this webinar to the fullest. Please don't use the chat bot on your right-hand side for questions. It's there for quick greetings or casual exchanges. If you have a technical or content-related question, we invite you to use the dedicated Q&A section. You'll find the Q&A button at the top of your screen. Simply click on it to open the dedicated space where you can ask your questions to our speakers. We'll have a single Q&A session for all speakers at the end, so when you submit a question, it would be really helpful if you mention which speaker it's for. And while you're there, you'll also see a quick survey about today's webinar, so feel free to fill it out anytime during or after the session. This time, we're also introducing something new, the opportunity to speak directly with our speakers. Just use the raise your hand function at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and during the Q&A, we'll give you the microphone for up to 3 minutes to engage directly with them. Please use this option for relevant questions linked to their presentations and Copernicus WEkEO, and don't forget to also write your questions in the Q&A tab in case we don't have time to get to it, so we can keep track of them for the post-event report. Finally, we encourage you to visit the guidelines and resources section on the event website. There, you will find useful links to the materials and tools we'll discuss today. And now, I'll hand over to the second host for today's session, Daria Andreevskaya from Noveltis.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Marine. I'm Daria, I'm from Noveltis, and well, I'll be your second co-host, as Marine told you. And well, I will start with the speakers of today. So you already saw me and Marine. And we also have today Christian Florindo from Labelia, who is a WEkEO data portfolio manager. Then we will have another presentation by Alexander Bores from Mercator Ocean International as well, who is a user support officer. And then we will have our use case panel discussion with two speakers. And the first one is Melih Tanis. He's a researcher at Finnish Meteorological Institute. And the second one is Nicola Imperatore, who is a PhD candidate at CNRS, which is a French National Center for Scientific Research. So now we can move on to our first presentation, and it's Marine again, and it's Introduction to WEkEO and Copernicus. So Marine, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Daria. So yeah, I'm going to do a short introduction to the Copernicus program and the Copernicus WEkEO service. So Copernicus is the Earth observation component of the European Union space program, and it's dedicated to monitoring our planet and its environment. It provides free and openly accessible information services based on satellite observations and in-situ data. It helps service providers, public authorities, and organizations improve quality of life in Europe and beyond. Copernicus operates through space-based and in-situ observation components and offers dedicated information services through self-standing portals tailored to various user communities. Copernicus offers a wealth of valuable environmental data across its various services, and WEkEO has been designed to bring all of this information together in one convenient place. So instead of navigating multiple platforms, you can access original data from all Copernicus services and Sentinel missions directly through WEkEO. Whether your focus is on marine, land, atmosphere, or climate data, the platform provides a unified and efficient environment to explore and work with these datasets. In January 2025, WEkEO launched a completely revamped version of the website, introducing a new visual identity and a more intuitive, responsive interface that enhances navigation and usability. Along with this fresh design, new features have been added to make working with data even easier and faster. Through wekeo.copernicus.eu, you can explore the comprehensive data catalog, leverage cloud computing tools directly on the platform, discover practical use cases and training materials, and participate in dedicated events like the one today. All data is freely available, and only a simple registration is required to download or process datasets. This new version of WEkEO is all about improving accessibility and helping you move seamlessly from discovering data to analyzing and applying it. It's everything you need in just one platform. With WEkEO, getting started is simple. You don't need any registration to view, explore, and discover the wide range of available data. Everything is open for you to browse freely. If you'd like to take advantage of more advanced features, you can create a free account to access personal working environments where you can organize and manage your projects, cloud resources that make it easy to share and process data directly online, and advanced tools and computing services to support more complex analysis and workflows. WEkEO provides free and open access to all Copernicus environmental data, allowing you to explore and work with high-quality datasets at no cost. You can download datasets freely and benefit from a cloud-based workspace for data analysis and processing without needing any local setup. So whether you're a beginner or an experienced user, you'll also have access to dedicated user support and a variety of helpful resources to guide you. This includes a rich library of e-learning materials featuring Jupyter and R notebooks designed to help you develop your skills and apply them directly on the platform. For users with more advanced processing needs, WEkEO also offers additional cloud computing resources through its commercial services. These options are ideal for large-scale projects or production environments that require higher computing power. WEkEO gives you access to over 400 datasets from Sentinel missions and the Copernicus Atmosphere, Climate, Land, and Ocean Services, as I said before. To help you explore this data, two tools are available: the Expert Data Viewer, which provides a detailed interface for dataset visualization, and the new Light Data Viewer, designed for faster and simpler visualizations. We'll explore both of these tools in more detail later in this webinar with a demonstration from Alexandre from the user support. WEkEO also offers a Jupyter notebook gallery with over 100 ready-to-use notebooks developed across the Copernicus services. You can view notebooks directly, clone them via GitLab, or customize for your needs, or launch them in the WEkEO Jupyter Hub if you're a registered user. This growing collection of notebooks covers a range of topics and workflows to help you learn and apply best practices when working with Copernicus data. The WEkEO workspace, which is formerly known as the WEkEO Jupyter Hub, goes beyond just Jupyter notebooks. It offers a full Jupyter Lab environment where you can explore data, perform basic analysis, and follow interactive workflows. It's suitable for everyone, from beginners to advanced users, and it includes access to Jupyter Lab, RStudio, and the XCube viewer for visualizing data cubes. Access requires a registered WEkEO account. and we will explore the features of the WEkEO workspace in more detail during the second webinar with presentations of the Jupyter Hub and RStudio on 20th May, as well as a presentation of the Xcube Viewer on 27 May during webinar 3. The WEkEO Drive provides registered users with secure online storage to save, manage, and share their work directly within the platform. This feature supports seamless collaboration and easy access to files used or generated in the WEkEO workspace. Once again, we'll dive deeper into this topic in our next session on May 20th, where we'll show you how to customize your environment. WEkEO also offers a set of advanced tools designed to help you scale up your data access and make your workflows more efficient and effective. These tools are particularly helpful if you're working with large data sets, running complex analysis, or looking for ways to simplify data handling and processing directly in the cloud. One of the key tools available is the Harmonized Data Access API, which provides seamless and unified access to original Copernicus data across all services and sources. With this API, you can automate data access and streamline the retrieval of large volumes of data without manually navigating through different platforms. WEkEO also integrates with powerful plugins like Climate Lab and EarthKit, which have been developed to make data handling easier. These plugins remove much of the complexity around data formats by automatically loading data into Python-ready structures, such as Xarray, allowing you to focus directly on your analysis instead of worrying about data preparation. This is especially valuable for users working in the data science and machine learning environments. Another important tool is EO Canvas, a serverless processing library that enables you to perform cloud-based processing of data right where it is stored. This approach significantly reduces the size of the data sets you need to download and speed up your entire workflow by moving some of the initial processing steps closer to the data source. It's a highly efficient way to manage and prepare data before running more detailed analysis. We'll explore these advanced tools in more details during the next session on this webinar series. In particular, you can look forward to a demonstration of the HGA API in webinar 2 and dedicated presentations on EO Canvas and EarthKit during webinar 3 on May 27th. For users with advanced processing needs, WEkEO offers scalable cloud computing resources designed to support both research activities and operational workloads. These resources fall into two main categories to match different user profiles and project requirements. Through the Innovation Lab, users can apply for free access to cloud resources by submitting a project proposal. If selected, you'll receive computing power ideal for prototyping, testing new workflows, and conducted research-oriented activities. This is a great opportunity to explore and validate your ideas without any cost. For large-scale production environments, or more intensive computing needs, WEkEO also offers commercial cloud and high-performance computing solutions that incur a cost. These include virtual machines available in various configurations to match your infrastructure needs and access to one of Europe's leading high computing environments. These resources are optimized for handling complex, high-volume data processing tasks. And finally, we'll explore how to access these resources and their associated costs in more details during webinar 3 on May 27th. And last but not least, WEkEO offers dedicated expert support to help you make the most of the platform. Whether you're just getting started or tackling more advanced tasks, you'll find a comprehensive help center with 49 detailed articles covering a wide range of topics. You can also get instant assistance by asking a question to our AI agent, or chat directly with a member of the support team through the live chat widget, easily accessible at the bottom right corner of every page of the website. So that's it for the introduction to Copernicus and WEkEO. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them during the Q&A session towards the end of the session. So, and as I shared before, you can find the Q&A section on the event website, or you can find the link directly in the chat. And now, Christian Florindo from Lobelia Earth will give an overview of the Copernicus data and products available on the WEkEO platform. Christian, are you there?
Yes, thank you, Maureen, and hello, everyone. I'll just quickly share my presentation so that we can get started. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Christian, and I am the WEkEO Data Portfolio Manager. So my role is to ensuring that the products are up to date, that there are no issues, and sort of update on new changes and that are ongoing. So on today's presentation, what I'll quickly do is just give an overview of what's WEkEO in a nutshell in terms of the products it provides. And for that, we'll do a product overview in general in the different sort of departments or the different disciplines that you can find in the platform. And finally, I'll continue with just a quick overview of how to navigate the catalog, how to find those data sets that are appropriate to you, because there is many different data sets. So it's very important to understand how to find which ones are better for you. And finally, just a quick description of what is the data status and system status in the platform. So WEkEO in a nutshell, what WEkEO tries to do is to, as my colleagues were explaining, is to try to contain all of the data from Copernicus in one single platform, to have it at your fingertips. And the way it works is that you will find data from the different services, whether it's the Copernicus Climate Change Service, Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Service, Copernicus Marine Service, Copernicus Land Monitoring Service, and the Emergency Management Service. And from all of those, you will find data provided by different entities, by different data providers that are constantly maintaining, updating, and providing new data sets. So WEkEO is quite dynamic. It's evolving constantly and increasing the offering. And you will find data sets for those services that relate to these big areas, the cryosphere, atmosphere, biosphere, hydrosphere, and the geosphere. And then for each of those services, you can find different data sets that relate to one or another. Just for you to know, there are more than 400 data sets at the moment. I believe it's about, as of today, 436, but that is evolving over time. And there are releases throughout the year. And as I say, it's quite dynamic. So in today's presentation, instead of just going into specific data sets, because there are so many, I'll just give an overview of the different offerings that you can find, and more importantly, how to find which are appropriate to you. So starting with the cryosphere, you will find products related to this topic, such as many different products related to the Arctic and the Antarctic, whether that's ocean products, but also land products, but especially having to do with snow and ice. not just the Arctic and the Antarctic, but also you'll find other seas like the Baltic and other areas where you will find, well, especially snow, ice, and all those things. So in terms of snow and ice monitoring, you can find many different products related to snow fraction, snow type, snow cover over time series that go back quite some time. You'll have also direct products from the Sentinel missions related to snow. In terms of ice, there's all types of ice. You can find lake ice, but some important products as well have to do with sea ice and icebergs, and that is whether it's sea ice extent, sea ice area, sea ice thickness, ice drift as well, how the ice is moving. And again, what you will see later in the platform is that you can select different times and see that same product immediately in different moments of time just by sliding the time panel. So anything to monitor the cryosphere, you'll find several data sets that are related to these different Copernicus services. And finally, you will also find different data sets of glaciers, whether that's historical data sets from the past, but also other that are for monitoring glaciers. In the next sort of compartment, the atmosphere, of course, most of the atmosphere-related data sets will be linked to the to CAMS, so the Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Service. But in there, you will find some data sets about the atmospheric composition over time, whether, well, that's the different gases that are part of the atmosphere. You can find the concentration of those gases over time globally. And in fact, that data set is also viewable. You can view it on the platform in real time. You will have, of course, other products related to aerosols and chemistry, air quality products. So anything for any work or any studies on air quality, you'll find some products that are very interesting on that. As well, anything to do with weather and related products, whether it's clouds and different cloud products, wind, air temperature, rain, many different important data sets that are important for atmosphere monitoring. And of course, a lot of forecasts and reanalysis that relate to Copernicus. You can find many different types within WEkEO. Then moving on to the next department, we've got the biosphere. So here you will find many different data sets. For instance, an important one that is widely used is the high resolution layers, which inform about canopy cover, forest density, forest type, forest fraction, and those are in very high resolution, just a few tens or 100 meters, and that is updated periodically. You can find products on plant phenology and vegetation cover, as we were saying, but also there's many data sets that inform about biomass and different biodiversity indicators as well. Another quite widely used product is NDVI and other productivity related data sets, which are quite popular and quite used. But the biosphere is not just related just for land. There's many different ocean data sets as well that work on plankton, on primary productivity in the oceans, and others related to that food chain, even the types of plankton as well. So you will be able to find quite a wide range of different products that are important for monitoring the biosphere. The hydrosphere, of course, there's a lot of ocean-related products. You will find many, more than 100 data sets from Cemal, the Copernicus Marine Environment Service. And those have to do with both physical or physical oceanography, but also biological products. So you can find information about sea surface temperature, salinity, ocean currents, density, anything to do with oceanography that you can imagine, you will be able to find in WEkEO. There's also data on sea level rise and many hydrology products as well. So not just ocean, you will find products on land as well to do with water bodies like lakes, information on rivers and river discharge that are also important for the emergency services and for flooding, for monitoring or tracking flooding as well. And you will also find products on water quality as well. Then we've got the geosphere, and you'll find different products also related to emergencies. You will have information about fires, wildfires, and past fires, burnt area, for instance. And in terms of emergency, there's also more related to hydrology. You've got products from GLOFAS and EFAS. Those are for river discharge and monitoring flooding. For soil, we've also got soil moisture and different water indices as well for the soil, but as well land temperature from satellite products, and of course other important and very popular data sets that have to do with land cover and land use, and of course a land digital elevation model from Copernicus at different resolutions. Those are quite popular data sets as well. So how to navigate the catalog? This is important because the variety, the offer is so big. There's so many data sets, more than 400. So to use WEkEO, it's quite straightforward. You'll have a tool to search and filter your data sets so that you can find which data sets can be more appropriate to you. You can visualize and download that data. So bear in mind that not all products are viewable on WEkEO, but many are, and you can explore them in the platform. You can also now see which ones are viewable or not, so that you can more easily navigate the product offer. And also bear in mind that there is an ongoing effort to try to make as many products viewable as possible. So over time, you will see that more and more data sets are becoming viewable in the platform and not just downloadable. And also, you can keep, you can save your favorite data sets. The only thing is just to bear in mind that to download and keep your data sets in favorites, you will have to be signed in the platform, just so you keep them under your sort of username. You will be given a presentation on the platform later, but just a quick overview on how to browse those products. Once you access, you'll have the light viewer, which is quite a nice introduction. But as you can see at the top right, you can access the expert data viewer, which is the one I will focus on, because here is where you can actually find all the products and functionalities. So when you click on the plus button that you can see next to layers at the top left, you will find this window where you can filter and search from all the data sets. And what's important here is that you've got your free text box where you can find and search for any data sets with any keywords. But also what I find personally, because I'm also a user of WEkEO, what I find more useful is filtering. And you've got all of these categories here at the bottom to filter the different data sets and try to find which one is more applicable to you. You can find which ones are viewable, your favorites once you're signed in, and you start saving them. You can filter by the different Copernicus surveys or the platform, for instance, the different Sentinel missions or satellites, or even the sensor used by the satellites. the area of whether it's global or specific to an area of the planet. And also what I find the most interesting is the tags. And this is an example of the different Copernicus service platforms and sensors, the different categories that you can filter by. But the tags is also quite a useful tool to find which area you're trying to find a data set for, and try to filter by those different tags. This way you can find many data sets that are applicable to you. To download the data, once you select one, you can select that button to download the data, and you can subset the data for different areas, different variables, or different times, so that you can download only what's important to you. You can request the data and finally download the file. And finally, just to close up, I just wanted to introduce two functionalities that you can find in WEkEO, which is the data status and the system status. The data status will show you it's updated, I believe, twice a day automatically. It just pings all the different data sets, and it automatically informs about whether those data sets are available, whether they are reachable, and whether there are any errors in the metadata or in downloading the data. And this is an example from yesterday. All data sets were all right, but there were 8 errors that had to do with some products not being able to be downloaded at the time. And you can click on those and you can see what is the information, what is the issue, and usually the team is behind this trying to fix those issues constantly. Or you can always consult if you have any questions. You can consult user support. But that works like as a traffic light system where you can see whether it's okay, there's an error, or whether the product is down. And that way you can have up-to-date information about the data itself. But then the system status works in a similar way, but it has to do with issues or errors or maintenance information that have to do with anything supporting the platform, not just the data sets coming upstreams from data providers directly, but more to do with the system, with APIs or other any technical aspects. Also, you can see whether there's any maintenance program or ongoing, and more information that have to do with the system supporting WEkEO. Also, you can see the history of past issues or maintenance as well. And with this, I just wanted to give you that quick introduction to the product offering. And after you're informed about how to navigate the platform, sign up, and everything, I invite you to try to explore the different data sets and the great offering that there's behind WEkEO. Thank you, and back to you. I'll be happy to answer questions at the Q&A session.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a very nice presentation. I'm sure we will have some questions for you. Now we will move to our next speaker, our next presentation. And it's Alexandre Borras, who's User Support Officer at Mercator Ocean International. And he will give you a presentation of, he will give you a demonstration of WEkEO Viewer.
Hello, thank you, Daria. So hello everyone, I'm Alexandre from the WEkEO User Support. And today we are going to take a look at the WEkEO Data Viewer. I will show you how to search for the data you are interested in, and how to visualize and download it. And I will also go through the interface so you can get more comfortable using the platform. So let's meet on the WEkEO homepage that you can find at wekeo.copernicus.eu. From there, I will just show you, how to register to WEkEO. So at the top right, you have the sign in button. From there, you can sign in, but if you are new to WEkEO, you can create an account. And here you have this form that you can fill in. A WEkEO account is totally free, and as said Marine, it's allow you to access to WEkEO tools, and more importantly, to download WEkEO data. So once you register, you can sign in by entering your username and not your email and your password. So here I'm signed in and I will meet this new page, which is My WEkEO. This is an interface that you have when you're connected. From there, you have access to many WEkEO tools. For example, the data viewer that we will see right after, the data catalog that is accessible also in the data viewer, the Jupyter catalog, like said Marine, that have many notebooks, use cases that allow you to know how to download and analyze WEkEO data. You then have the WEkEO workspace, which is the WEkEO Jupyter hub with many libraries installed like the HDI API client to download WEkEO data, and also many libraries for data manipulation and analysis. Then you have the WEkEO drive that this is a tool to store and share up to 8 GB of data. And today we will focus on the data viewer, so you can click both on these two buttons. And here we are on the WEkEO Light Data Viewer. So this viewer is aimed to be used by beginners to start exploring data. On the left, you have the 5 Copernicus services, and for each of them, you can display easily on the map their main products. For example, for marine data, you can display the temperature. For Copernicus Marine Land, you can display the tree cover. For atmosphere, you can display the ozone, climate change, the wind speed. And for Sentinel data, you can display the normalized difference vegetation index. For Copernicus Marine Temperature, you have at the top the name of the variable with its unity, here Celsius degrees. Below you have the date at which the data is displayed on the viewer. So here we can change the date by using the time bar at the bottom, like this. You can zoom in and zoom out in the time bar to get a precise date, like this. You can zoom in and zoom out also in the viewer on the map by using your mouse scroll. Then on the right, you have the color bar of the data. You can change this color with this button to use a color that meets your needs. You can change the opacity of the data display. And you have this tool. This is not available for all data, but you can change the interval of values to, for example, focus on a higher temperature. Or waiting for the map to update. But you will see that you have only data display between these values. Then you have the button to change the projection from equatorial to polar north, for example. Oh, the data is updating. So here you have data focusing the two values we choose before. Polar north projection and also polar south. Then you have, and this is not available for all products, but the depth scale. If you want to focus on deeper values, we can choose to change the depth. Then you have on the left the setting button if you want to show or not the base map, the coastline and reference features, and change the unit from kilometer to miles, for example, the area unit, and you can find also the credits of WEkEO. Then we have the Talk to an Expert button. As explained Marine, here you can access all the WEkEO articles, and you can, if you want, chat with us, you will first meet our AI agent Neo. But if you want to talk to a WEkEO user support, you can ask him to talk to a human. Let's now meet the expert data viewer. So here, if it's the first time you meet this page, you will have two products displayed by default: the normalized different vegetation index and the seawater salinity data. Here we will reach the WEkEO catalog by clicking on the plus button next to layers. From there, you have on the right all the dataset available. So there is more than 400. You have, for example, for this dataset, the name of the dataset, the temporal extent just below, a quick description of the data. On the left, you have the thumbnail that gives you a quick overview of what the data will looks like on the viewer or when you download it. Then you have this important icon that show you that this dataset can be viewable on the map. Viewable, sorry. Viewable dataset will have this icon, which indicates how many layers can be displayed on the map. And then you have this star icon to add a layer, add a dataset to your favorites. And so you will find all the favorites datasets on the left in the filters. Filters are in different categories. So you have the viewable datasets. You can filter from Copernicus services. You can search for platforms, area, and we have many tags to filter your data. And then you have the free text bar to search for with keywords, or like I will show you after, the dataset ID. So for today, we will choose a Sentinel-2 data, the only one, the Sentinel-2 level 1C, level 2A. We can see that this dataset is viewable on the map, and we will show the details of this product. So here we have the name of the dataset. We have, and this is not always the case, but use cases that will redirect to this page if you want more informations. Then we have the abstract with more information on the data. The dataset ID, like I said, this is very useful. This is for us, WEkEO user support, a way to know which dataset you're using if you're encountering issues or if you have questions. So don't hesitate to reach the dataset ID if you want to share it. Then we have the satellite, Sentinel-2, sensor, area. This is a global dataset, so this will focus all the world. Then we have resources, contacts, and metadata. On the left, you have the thumbnail, the temporal extent, the geographical extent, so latitude and longitude extent. And for those who are interested, you have WMS and WMTS button. So here you can copy the WMS link if you want to integrate it in your application. So this will talk for those who are interested in this. And we have the Add to Map button. So today we will choose to focus on normalized difference vegetation index. So we will add this layer to the map. So we click on Add to Map. And there we have our dataset added in the Layer tab. Here we have the eye icon to hide or not a layer on the map. So we will hide the both default layers, and we will zoom in in the map to see the data of this dataset. This dataset give data on orbits. So in one date, you will not have data on all over the globe, but it should display data. If I wait seconds, I will change the data at the bottom. For example, 30 April, and yes, we have data here, like I said, there is, let me just remove the base map. Here, data in orbit, so there is missing tiles. This data can be downloaded by tiles, so we see that there is missing tiles, but if we change the date, there is chance that these tiles will be filled. So I will show you now the tools. At the bottom right, you have, like in the live viewer, button to change the projection. We have a tool to draw a point on the map. For example, if we draw a point in the water, we will have, we will have here the coordinate of these points and a quick graphic of data. This graphic is related to seawater salinity. This is because we have this layer display. So this is the point button. Then we have the measure tool to calculate the distance between 2 points. Then we have the most important tool, the set AOI, so area of interest, to draw a bounding box on the map. This will be very useful to subset our data to only download data in this bounding box. So I will keep this bounding box draw and I will use it right after. The help button to display this widget, so to access our articles and to chat with us if you have questions or issues. And the setting button to show not the base map like in the light viewer. So on the left, we have our layer, the date at which we display data on the map. We have the information button to get back to this page where we have more information on the data set. We have this layer button to change which data we want to display on the map. And then we have the parameter button to change the opacity. Depending on the dataset, buttons like this parameter button can change. Here we can change the color map and we have this interval of values. But for Sentinel data, there is no such parameters. And now we will focus on subset and download button. So we need to be registered to access this button. So we do it at the beginning of this session, but if you're not, we'll be redirected to the sign-in page. I have some errors. All right. So this is live things. I will change to seawater salinity. All right. I will use a different data set just to show you. Okay, we refresh the page. All right. So it was just a refresh issues. So I will read two things. So I click on subset and download button. And here I have this subset page that open. We can first read that only fees marked with asterisks are mandatory. So for this product, we don't have mandatory parameters. Only we need to agree to the Copernicus Sentinel license. Then we can fill in the form to download data. So a tip I would like to share is to don't too much subset your data because there is many users that filter too much and when they will request their data, they will not have results because they have chosen parameters that will filter all the results. So I will invite you to use parameters like the bounding box and, for example, the temporal extend to filter your data. And then if you find results, you can then filters more by using other parameters. But first make a large request to get more results and to be sure that you will not have zero. So here I will use the bounding box parameter you can enter it manually, your coordinates. So it's north, south, east, west coordinates. And if you want to use the AUI we drew before, you can copy AUI from the map like this. And this will subset our data only in this bounding box. Then, like I said, I will not enter all the parameters, but only the start and end date. So I will download all the April months like this from 1st to 30 April. And then we have these two buttons, the show API request and the request data. Show API request button display this API request. So this is useful if you want to share with us, the WEkEO user support, the request you have made that, for example, don't return results or that causing an issue. You can copy the request by using the copy button. And this API request can be used in the harmonized data access API to download your data programmatically. This tool, the HDA, will be more explained by David Bina in next session. But if you want to to get more information about it, you can access our article about it. So I will let you browse our App Center if you're interested in. And then you have the request data button. So if we click on it, this will take seconds, not minutes, to load our results. And then we have our jobs heading. So we go through the layers tab to the jobs tab. Jobs tab is where you have all the requests you have made. So you have an history of your all jobs. And from there, you can see the name of the variable you have request. And you have the time at which you have made it, the status, which is completed, and the API request button to show that the request you have made. If you don't remember, for example, an old query, you can quickly see which parameters you have entering. So you keep that in mind. And here we have the results in the folder icon. So I will display them. And here we have more than 100 results. For each of them, you have the name of the file you will download, the date of the data, and the size of the file. For each results, you will need to order them first to download them after. So if I order a result, I will have to wait seconds, sometimes minutes. If it takes too long, this could mean that there is an issue, but this is not often the case. Sometimes it just takes some time. And once the order is made, you will have this download icon to download your data. This will open your local files, and you can choose where you want to download the data locally. And that's it for the download. If you have many results like here, more than 100, on the viewer, it's quite complicated to order all of them and download them one by one. So what we use here is the HDI, so the Harmonized Data Access API, to download programmatically your data. With a few commands line, you will be able to download all the results at once in the folder of your choice. So yeah, this could be interesting for your use. But David Bina will go deeply into this feature. And you have the bin icon if you want to remove previous jobs. And this is also the case for the layers. You can remove layers from your layers tab. And that's it. I will just go through the help button to end this session. Here I can browse all our WEkEO articles. From the widgets, it's not quite simple, so I invite you to go to the help and support button. And from there, you can I will click on it. You can visit our App Center. And here you have all the WEkEO articles displayed in collections. So if I want to have information on data viewer, I will click on this collection and browse, for example, the introduction to WEkEO data viewer. So if you miss some information I share with you, you normally have all in this article. And if you have questions, you can write us a message in this widget chat. So thank you very much for your attention. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask them. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexandre. And now, after these two presentations, we will move to our panel discussion with our use cases. And first of all, well, this panel discussion will be held in quite two parts, I say. First is a short presentations of each of our speakers about their specific project, their use case, and then we'll have a discussion itself with questions we prepared for them. So first is Cemal. He will present you his work. Cemal, I don't see you.
You don't see me?
Ah,
You can
okay,
hear me?
now I do. Okay,
Yeah,
now I
okay.
see you and hear you. Yeah, great.
All right, great.
So yeah,
Thank
you
you.
share screen.
Daria, yeah, I need to pick this up. You see it, I guess?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, hello again. My name is Cemal Melih. I work in Finnish Meteorological Institute. And Finnish Meteorological Institute is part of a consortium that is producing Copernicus land monitoring service, high resolution water, snow and ice service. This service started 4 or 5 years ago with a slightly different consortium. And at the moment, it includes Magellium, SPO, NVO, and GeoWill and us. And we are implementing this on behalf of European Environment Agency. So what we were doing here is that it was high resolution snow and ice service previously. There was no water component, and it had snow and ice products that are derived from Sentinel-1 and Sentinel-2 observations, which are high resolution, and it covered the pan-European area. And there are both near real-time and daily products, and these products are at the moment in WEkEO. They are hosted. And the products include fractional snow cover, persistent snow area, which is annual, wet dry snow, sour wet snow, and from the gap filled fractional snow cover. Then in the ice side, there's river and lake ice extent. There are multiple versions of this, and aggregated river and lake ice extent products. Then continuing the service in the next framework, the water component is also included. And there we have the near real-time products, which are mostly same with the previous one, with the improvements, of course. Then instead of river and lake ice extent, now there is water and ice cover. In principle, it's the products provide the same parameter, but there are differences. And in the daily products, there is again gap filled fractional snow cover, and the early products now changed to aggregated water and ice cover. And for the annual products, we have snow phenology and ice cover duration, which gives snow and ice duration during a hydrological year, and then water cover duration, which has the same logic for water cover. And there's also a high resolution water layer, which also reports wetness. And these products are used in water management, energy, for biodiversity studies, people and infrastructure safety, navigation, and support the climate studies. We previously prepared a brochure, which you can use the link to get more information about these cases. And the link with the WEkEO is that sorry, there was a mix-up. Okay, I'll continue from this slide. So in the previous framework, which is high resolution snow and ice. We have produced every day about 2,700 products, which are processed from hundreds of Sentinel-1 and 2 images, and we delivered them with a maximum of 3 hours after the level 1 data is available in WEkEO. And it's pan-European, so this is really huge data, and it is time critical. So this is where WEkEO comes into our project or service. So we use WEkEO for production of this with the advanced processing tools and the storage since July 2020. And what is done there is that we use hardware and software components are hosted on WEkEO, network, input and output data products, intermediate files, auxiliaries, and they're providing access to level 1 and level 1 of Sentinel-2 and Sentinel-1 products so that we use them for the production. And then it provides the end users with access to the products. And this production, along with the access in WEkEO, also provides the products that are published in the different web services. And we also, as I said, disseminated through WEkEO the products. Last 2 presentations already showed this, how the products are on WEkEO and how they can be downloaded over manually or with the HDI API programmatically. And another case for us to use the WEkEO is the Jupyter Hub. We have organized some webinars to train the users and demonstrate these products. So there we use the Jupyter Hub because it has direct access to L1 data, but more importantly, I think it's quick for the user to start. They don't need to make some extra steps. It just works basically, and it's independent of the operation system or hardware. So that's quite convenient. Thank you very much. This was just an introduction, and you can find more in these links.
Thank you, Cemal. It was interesting. And now, a short presentation of Nicola. Nicola, you have the floor.
Yes, sure. Do you hear me well?
Yes.
Great.
And we see your screen.
My
Yeah.
screen. Great. Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Nicola Imperatore, PhD candidate at CNRM, Joint Research Unit of Meteo France and CNRS, and I'm based in the Center of Study of Snow in Grenoble. And I'd like to introduce myself, talking about my PhD project entitled Satellite Observations in Contribution to Mountain Snow Modeling, and its link with the Copernicus and WEkEO ecosystem. As perhaps you have guessed, in my work I study snow, but why does it matter? Well, Cemal already mentioned it, but there are different fields of applications in both science and applications. For example, in science, snow cover drives world climate, and in ecosystems dominated by seasonal snow, that's very important for all this ecosystem protection and understanding. And there are also many operational applications, especially for what concerns natural hazards like avalanches and floods and water resource management. So there are public organizations that operate snow numerical simulations, and the snow numerical simulations work pretty much like this. There is a numerical weather prediction model as input, so we force our model with some weather data and input, and then we simulate the physics of the snowpack through some models in my laboratory in the Center of Study of Snow. We use this model called the Crocus, and this model simulates the internal physics and the layering of the snowpack. And the outputs of this model might be used by the scientific community for the reasons we just mentioned, and by the operators to produce public services for the citizens. In order to simulate what's going on in the mountains, we need some kind of geometry, some kind of models of the mountains. So we have right now in the current operational system that is called the S2M. This system is based on what we call semi-distributed geometry, where a massif is only is only represented by its orientations and altitude bands. But we are working on a future system called Edelweiss, in which the massive geometry is actually discretized in 250 meters resolution grid. And yeah, that's the geometry, and that allows us to capture much better the snow spatial variability. In this new future system, we're gonna introduce some satellite data in the model to construct the simulations. And there are numerous observations that can be relevant for the model, like all what's Copernicus, snow and ice, as Cemal just showed. And that's a simple example on how a user can study the complementarity of the data set in this case. So for example, here in the zone of the Alps, we zoom, we select, we want our data sets, we use the tags cryosphere Europe, and then we add, for example, fractional snow cover from Sentinel-2. Then we select a time on the bar on the bottom. So for example, we select 3rd of January because we want to make sure that we have some snow there. And then we use another data set for example, when the wet and dry snow from Sentinel-1, and we can this way easily study the complementarity of both data sets. So once we chose the observations we want to assimilate into the model, we need to develop the assimilation system. This is our presentation of of a particle filter that is an assimilation algorithm widely used for these applications. So on the left, I represented the snow models, and at the center, there's the representation of this filter. And all the blue lines represent an ensemble member, so a possible simulation, a possible value for the snow depth for different simulations. And then at some point when we have an observation, so at the simulation time, we will introduce our observation with its likelihood. So for example, we chose for my PhD, we're gonna simulate Sentinel-2 fractional snow cover, and then we are interested in the uncertainty linked to this observation. So in the width of this Gaussian curve here, and we characterize these observations. So for example, we know that for a topographical class, for example, in a flat area, we have a certain uncertainty, and this is what we tell to the model through the sigma of the Gaussian. And on another class, for example, on steep areas, we have larger uncertainties, and that's how we introduce this information into the model. So once we develop our algorithm, we can use it both for reanalysis, and that's an example of how it can be used for reanalysis. So for example, say we want a reanalysis on the whole Pyrenees chain mountain range in the winter year 2016-2017. We copy the AOI, and we quickly have a query that we can use in our HDA API program. We didn't have a tutorial yet on it, but that's just to show that it's pretty simple to download data for our analysis with this API. And then once we have matches, we can just launch the download command and then our application. For forecast, well, we are not going every time through the user interface, but we will probably set up a bounding box, and then we would automate a task, an application that every day is looking for all the images of the previous 24 hours, and then the rest of the structure is pretty much the same. That's it for my presentation. I thank you a lot for your attention, and I'm looking forward to engage a discussion with you.
Thank you, Nicola. So now we can, after these two presentations, we can move to the panel discussion. We prepared some questions for both our speakers, and we will go through them one by one. Okay. So now first question is, how did you first start using Copernicus data and what problem were you trying to solve? So Cemal or Nicola, as you wish, first one starts and second picks up. Okay.
Thanks. I can start. Yeah, I actually mentioned it a bit in the introduction. But how did we start using it? Was actually our founder's choice. But although we would probably do the same, but the reason is clear. The portfolio is quite large. It requires a lot of data to be processed. It's time critical. And another reason for that is that it was desired that in case the production consortium changes, the production and maintenance of it would continue with either no or minimal issues. So if this production is working in WEkEO, somebody else could also continue it. And this is actually also why our production code is actually open. It is hosted in GitHub. And for the Jupyter Hub case, as I told, we had some experience before using them. But for example, when you do this demos, and if a user wants to follow it, doing it, then you need to include this installing all the libraries and everything part. Then I think it's actually quite inefficient in like time-wise. So when you just use the Jupyter Hub, it was giving us the opportunity that when we share the Jupyter script, it just works for the user in the same way, independent of pretty much anything. So yeah, that was how.
Okay, great. And Nicola, what was your experience?
Yeah, well, since the early beginning of my career, I work in Earth observation, so it's pretty much impossible to ignore Copernicus data. But I can answer for what concerns WEkEO. So remember that I was working at CS Group. It's the company that develops EODAG, that is a Python API to get satellite data irrespectively of on the producer. And I think I was just playing with it, and I saw that WEkEO was on the list of available providers, so I tried it out. The objective for my project was to download Sentinel-2 data in the most efficient way. And then more recently, for my PhD, well, I need to download automatically large quantities of Sentinel-2 data and to also automize it. So I will need, I use APIs to do this. And I mean, I remember of WEkEO from this past experience, and then I tried it out because I saw that Copernicus no and Dash collection was present there, and it's not necessarily the case for all the providers. So I tested it again, but it was before all the new features. So in the end, I was back to the Copernicus Lambda Monetary Service API. But I think that right now we will move to HD Harmonized Data Access API.
Okay, great. Thank you. Will we move to the next question? So what advice would you give to someone just starting to work with Copernicus data?
Yeah, I can answer again first. So first thing is actually read the documentation, I would say, and check out also other user outreach materials. The issue here is that people are like, what we see from the questions that are reaching us is that people are keen to get just the main data. Like by the main data, I mean, if it's a snow cover, you just look at the snow cover, but then people try to use it intuitively, like it's a map, so they just want to use the data. But generally, there are some other details about the data, and this needs to be either understood first well, or it may not be aligned with one aspect due to the nature of the satellite data. And also, certain times there are lots of information as additional layers along with this main data. There are quality flags and quality confidence information, and some other metadata. So this might actually help you get most of the data and block the possibility, discard the possibility that you would maybe misunderstand the data. That's important, I think. And also, don't hesitate to ask for help from these contact points. We do have in our service, and I think probably all the producers have this user help desk email addresses or forms. So if there's an issue, you should ask.
Okay, thank you. Nicola?
Yeah, I will speak more on the side of the users. And I mean, in my experience, I saw that many users are discouraged by a bit of the complexity of the ecosystem of data distribution, especially for what concerns Copernicus, where it's not pretty much centralized. Every service has its own data, etc. So some users are a bit afraid at the beginning on the first approaches, and so my advice is to not be afraid of this. A certain level of complexity is normal, but from my experience, the learning curve that might be a bit steep in the beginning, then it's totally flat. And once you know how to use one service, then it's pretty much it's much easier to understand how to use all the other services. There are even users that are discouraged in the registration phase because, well, nowadays we have an account for everything, and we need to every day to create a new account. So someone just is discouraged by this. And also there are problems like password leaking, servers doesn't work. It can be understood, but I mean, it's been some years that it's like this, and nowadays there are tools to automate password and account generation and tracking. So really don't hesitate and don't limit yourself for this reason. And yeah, and the other advice also is a bit trivial, is a bit linked to what Cemal was saying, but it's to take some minutes to understand the interface before wanting to download your specific data at your specific time. Read the documentation, the tutorials. It's generally well done, and or just play around with the interface without wanting to directly download this, because it can be frustrating in the beginning. It's normal to take some minutes. I'm not talking about hours. I'm talking about 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, great, thank you. And for the next question, we have actually a bit like separate questions. So we have two sub questions, one for each of you. And first one is, Cemal, what are the main challenges in producing accurate and reliable data sets, in your opinion?
I think the first and, in my opinion, the most important is the reference data coverage for both development and also validation of the data, the product. The issue there is that so early from the development case, you need this reference data, and it's mostly in-situ data that that you need to see that the product is working, and if you wanna fine-tune some parameters, you need this. So the issue there is that different countries have priority in different thematic areas when it comes to collecting environmental data naturally, due to either their geography or ecology or just their interest. And it takes a lot of time to collect and harmonize this data from different countries, which have different formats also maybe. So and sometimes you just don't have it for some areas, so because of this, the performance of a product may not be representative for all the coverage area. For example, in our products are like pan-European coverage. They go over like 39 countries, but you may have only like you can say the product are working very well actually only in some part of that, and we expect to work it in the rest. And the second one is the quality and representative of the auxiliary data. For example, the water and ice cover products in our portfolio, we use a high resolution water and wetness layer, which was produced before by Copernicus, and also EU Hydro dataset, which has information about the extent of the water body. So we need to know first the extent of the water body to detect the ice on it for the inland waters. So even though Copernicus is trying its best to provide this data also in high quality, there are some other factors. For example, HRL-WOW, this water layer is updated every few years, and it's actually made of multi-year data. So it might show a river extent, but maybe it has changed now, which is pretty possible. So then you kind of inherit this issues to your products. So I think that's the second one.
Okay, that's very interesting. Thank you. And for Nicola, we have a question. How has using Copernicus data via WEkEO made your workflow more efficient or accessible?
Yeah, well, that's pretty much about what I showed in the presentation with the videos. But to sum up, we haven't developed it yet. I'm still in my first year of PhD, but we plan to develop these systematic applications. So what is really relevant to me is HDA, Harmonized Data Access API. And that's exactly what I was looking for in order to automate Sentinel-2 fractional snow cover data, and perhaps other data sources later in the project. And the other thing I can mention is the data catalog or Weaver. This interface is quite powerful once it's understood, and it allows me very quickly, in few clicks, to explore punctual data. And yeah, well, the Copernicus Snow and Ice collection is there. So for all the community, cryosphere community in Europe, that's a very powerful service. It's like the possibility to just click some layers, play around, and see these data sets. It's a big gain of time in some applications where you need to study a particular date.
Okay, thank you. I think we still have a bit of time to look at our question, and we prepared, of course, some more. So how do you think services like Copernicus WEkEO contribute to society and decision-making in your field of work? Maybe just briefly.
I can definitely take this one, because that's very much linked to my PhD project. And well, the general consideration here is that the potential of this data remains a bit underexploited in the alpine cryosphere science and applications. But there's a lot of research going on. It's our topic how to use these new satellite collections of Copernicus to enhance the research activities. So if you talk about society, well, science definitely contributes to society. So these data sets of Sentinel at unprecedented resolution and revisit, that's a really huge step forward for all the ecosystem community, etc. But I will talk mainly about decision-making operations, but because this concerns me more. So when we talk about operational applications, it's mainly water resource management and data analysis monitoring, avalanches, floods, glacial hazards. And these are applications where satellite data are very can be a really powerful tool because the mountains are vast and really difficult to monitor in situ. So satellite are definitely the answer for us, and the community will enormously benefit. It's already benefiting, but not at large scales in operational applications. Yeah, that's pretty much what we will try to do with my applications. We have a model that is used operationally right now without satellite data, and we'll try to improve the predictions of this model and of the services to the citizens with the use of this data. And through the access like WEkEO and other services, they can definitely support us for this kind of applications. And the reasons why the number of applications in my field is still limited is well, there is of course still a gap to fill between the providers and users in the Crestfield community, but these new WEkEO tools can definitely play a role here in the following years. And then it's likely that the community is quite small and maybe it has not been able to develop relevant applications now, but so far, but we are working on it.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Cemal, have something to add briefly, or?
Yeah, if you have time, actually, this maybe we can also put it in the website later. This brochure actually has a few use cases there, but I just want to mention one of them, which I find very interesting. That it's not the data is not yet used, but we kind of propose this as a potential use case that there are some lakes in Finland that to reach from one town to another around the lake in winter, people actually drive over these lakes when it's frozen completely. So it was discussed that maybe this kind of lake ice products, they can actually be used to cover this, because normally how it is done at the moment is they are just going and looking at the ice, and if it's good to walk or drive, they put these signs over it so people just go over. But then with this data, you can actually see it beforehand and maybe watch it daily, that maybe it's going to melt earlier. Then that would be a problem for the citizens, for example.
Yeah, okay, that's a great example, yeah. So I guess we are done with the panel discussion. We have looked at some questions, and now we're gonna move to the Q&A session, and it's gonna be 2 parts. And the first one, Marine will explain you how is it going to be.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Daria. So first of all, thank you very much to Cemal and Nicola for all these great answers, and also a big thank you to all our speakers today. I see we have many questions coming in, and before we start the Q&A, just a quick reminder, replays, presentations from speakers and certificates of attendance will be available a few hours after the session. We also encourage you to complete the survey for this first webinar. There's a link available in the chat on the event platform, and your answers will help us tailor the next webinars. And so we'll now begin the Q&A. So first, we'll take the questions from those who have raised their hands on Zoom, and then we'll move on to the written questions submitted through the Q&A tab. Feel free to keep adding your questions there in case we don't get to them immediately. And remember, you'll have up to 3 minutes to ask your questions and chat with our speakers before we move on to the next. Okay, so let's start. I see we have some hands raised on Zoom. So I will now allow Kekilia Kabalimu to speak. So you should be able to unmute yourself now and ask your question. I can see that you're still muted. Can you hear us? Oh, yes, you're unmute now. I don't think we can hear you. So I will go to another participants and we can get back to you later on. So I will now go to the next person who raised their hand, who is Nidhi Gopal, and you should be able to speak now. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, and I have few questions for three speakers. First, for Nicola, can we use PyCharm JetBrains Community Edition for analyzing Python datasets in its collaboration, which you have shown as a code in Python?
Yeah. I'm not sure I understand what it means in its collaboration. Can
I
you
mean,
please
for
specify
analyzing
this?
the datasets.
Yeah, for analyzing dataset, you can definitely use PyCharm Community Editions for this example. I am using Visual Studio Code with the Python plugins, but everything is in Python. So if you want to use instead PyCharm JetBrains to perform analysis, that's definitely possible. Even if I'm not currently updated on the features of this tool.
Okay, thank you for informing. And for Christian, are the Sentinel data readings reliable and accurate? And is this data used for monitoring, comparison, and analysis?
Yes, so actually the data is fetched directly from the source, so you can access the Sentinel original data. They also produce different levels of processing that you can access, and in each of the data sets, you can read the specifications to have a better understanding of the data quality as well. And they also provide different quality flags are available to understand what's the data quality as well, and if there are any different flags. But as I say, each dataset has a thorough description with the characteristics and specifications that are very helpful to understand that level data quality and accuracy. There's also the user support. If you want to have more information about specific datasets, they can link you to the experts. But yes, these products are widely used in a range of operational functionalities and products, especially those that are near real time. So yes, through different API services, these products are widely used by the community for many different operational purposes. And some examples, you can see them as well in the use cases.
Okay. Thank you very much for answering. And for Alexandre, do the map projections from WEkEO service provide accurate data and location of a particular place?
Hello, I see your question. Yeah, it depends on the data you are looking for, but if we only talk about coordinates, the WEkEO viewer give a really precise precision in coordinates, and depending on the data you are choosing, the resolution can change. So yeah, depending on the data you are looking.
Okay. Thank you for answering. And it's for everyone that are cloud computing tools designed to facilitate collaboration and ensure compatibility with third-party applications and services such as Amazon Web Services and all. Means, can we use those kind of tools for cloud computing purpose?
I'm not quite sure whether Christian or Alexander, do you have an answer to this?
I will try to answer. We give cloud computing resources via our paid plan, but if you would like to use your cloud resources to compute WEkEO data. I mean, yeah, you can maybe try to use the API via cloud.
Okay,
I don't really know.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nidhi. And now we will go to the next person who raised their hand. And this is Emma Gatti. I'm giving you, you should be able to speak
Thank you.
now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Fantastic.
can.
Hi, I have two questions for Alexander. I also put them in the Q&A. Alexander, I'm speaking from a person that doesn't come from the science part, so I have two very basic questions. And the first one is, can I change the unit of measures in the layer? I was playing around with the sea temperature and I noticed it was in Kelvin, and I couldn't understand if it was possible to change it in degrees, for example.
In the viewer, I don't think it's possible to change unit, but once you download it, I mean, you can play with the data and change the unit. Depending on the dataset, maybe you have this parameter in the subset form, but that's it. In the viewer, there is no way to change.
Okay, and the second question is about the downloading. I tried to download one and I noticed that the format was, I think, NC file. And I was wondering if it's possible to download them in JPEG or TIFF or something like that.
Once again, it depends of the dataset. Some dataset in the subset form allow you to change the format at the end from GeoTIFF or NetCDF zip. We have a dedicated article about formats that you can find in the WEkEO Help Center. If you type a format in the search bar, you will find it. And you have a table where we categorize all the formats for each providers and data.
Okay, so it means that if I know the providers and data, I can already sub-select all those subsets that they give me the format that I need. Is this correct?
Yeah, right.
Okay, and is in the help center, and if I type format, is there?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I will now go to the next person who raised their hand, and this is Faith Adeshola. You should now be able to speak. Hello. I can see you're unmute, so you should be able to speak now. Okay, we might get back to you later on. I will now go to the next person who is Maher Ben Shir. And you should be able to speak now. You need to unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hello. Yes, we can hear you.
Hello from Tunisia. Thank you to you all speakers and for their presentation and for sharing the knowledge and technical insight. I am particularly interested to wind data. What is the minimal time and space resolution, particularly in the vertical axis for your data?
I think I'll try to reply that. That's very specific to each of the data sets. So it's really a matter of depending on the data set, the resolution that it's provided. But for instance, if I think of the RF5 product, that's hourly data. Although it's a reanalysis, it's not a forecast. And the vertical levels, it's about meters. So it really depends on the data set. So the best way forward is to look for the different data sets with the specifications or explore them where available, and you will be able to see what is the sort of time resolution and vertical resolution for those products.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will now maybe take one or two more questions, because then we have the second part of the Q&A with written questions. So I'm now going to go to Abdul Rahim Ali Yahuza, and you should be able to speak now. Hi, we can hear you.
Yes, I can hear. So, thank you for presenting this platform, which is very interesting in providing improvement on data visualization.
I'm sorry, we can't hear you very well. Could you maybe speak just
so that I say that thank you for presenting this platform. You can hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. That also functional persisting environmental and qualificate the users of. It also offers tools and services including in data review and the workspace for running the Python script. So I wonder if it's allowed use to visualize real data. If not, is it possible to develop a Python script that can provide us with this data?
I understand we're talking about a Python script, but I'm not quite sure what this Python script is about. I'm sorry, we couldn't hear you very well.
But it's also offer tools and service, including in the cloud and the workspace for running Python script. So I want to know if it's possible to allow those to visualize real data.
I'm very sorry, someone spoke at the same time as you, so I'm afraid we're gonna have to, if you could write your question in the Q&A and we can get back to it at that time. I think it might be easier. Sorry about that. Okay, so I guess it's now time to go to the second part of the Q&A. Sorry, I see we still have a lot of hands raised. We don't have time to go through all of these, sadly, but make sure you write down your question in the Q&A and we can get to it during this second part of the Q&A, hopefully. So I will now give the floor to Daria to lead on this part.
Yep, thank you, Marine. And well, now we're moving to Slido questions. So the questions you wrote to us, and well, without further ado, first question is to Cemal. How do you validate or ensure the quality of the data?
Yeah, so actually for the current phase, the high resolution water, snow and ice, there's actually a second consortium that is just doing this. So they provide independent from us studies and all the performance metrics and everything that they report to us and EA, and we consider these and we implement the suggested changes and try to improve the products. In the previous phase, though, in high resolution snow and ice, we did this ourselves. There are certain methodology that we do in this kind of geospatial products, how to calculate their performance. We have every partner has their own long-term expertise about that. So that's then we do these studies and report the metrics, and then we publish these in a validation report that is available in the land monitoring website.
Okay, but that was it, or you Want to add
Yeah.
something else? Yeah, okay, great, thank
That's it,
you.
yeah.
And next question is, talking about data extraction from WEkEO, is it possible to upload a list of geographic coordinates and extract values of variable at those specific points? I think it's a question to Alexander mostly.
Yeah, I will answer it. No, actually, it's not possible to upload the list of geographic coordinates. This is a feedback we already have, and we suggested to our tech team. So we hope one day we will have this possibility.
Okay, great, thank you. Next question is to Nicola. How important is near real-time data availability for your work?
Well, well, it's crucial. I mean, it's an operational application, so I only consider operational products. But maybe the near real-time definition is can be pretty wide right now. So maybe it's better to talk of daily products. So every day I have a new product based on the available observation of the day. But yeah, it's fundamentally only consider operational products, operational daily products for now. But what's also very important about that availability in my project is also the durability of these datasets, and this is valid for all operational applications because I mean there are data sets that are produced for some years and then are stopped. Even Sentinel-2 fractional snow cover dataset is right now not operational, and that is due to many reasons. But this is definitely a weakness and something that creates a gap between potential users in our work and the producers.
Okay, thank you. Next question, I think it's a bit connected to the one we had before. Can users upload their area of interest in shapefile format, and also can the workspace perform analysis processes, or is it limited to filtering and downloading data?
So no, it's only possible to draw a bounding box on the viewer. It's not possible to use a shapefile in the viewer. And no, the workspace not perform analysis processes. Yeah, like you said, it's limited to filtering and loading data. Once you download your data, you can use every other tool you want, such as QGIS or any programmatic languages to analyze your data.
Okay, thank you. To Alexander or Christian, how do I know who to acknowledge in my research for the institute data used in the production or validation of the maps? So I guess it's more about citation, yeah.
I can try, and Alexandra, you can add up if you want. Usually, when you search for any data sets, there's a description of the data set which has a lot of information. In there, you can see sometimes the different documents with products where you can find that information, and sometimes you can also find the EOI of the providing entity, and you can find that information. But otherwise, is you can always, if you cannot find that information there, you can find the original data provider website or DOI where you can find such information. I don't know if you want to add up anything, Alexandra.
No.
Okay, thank you. Next question is, can I download part of tile area of interest instead of an entire scene covered by a Sentinel-1 tile or Sentinel-2, I guess, and so on?
So no, Sentinel data are delivered by tile, so you don't have the choice to download the tile totally. But what you can do, but that will not solve the problem, it's to programmatically reduce the size of the data you want to analyze using X-ray or different tools. But no, you will have to download all the tile. Don't have choice.
Okay, thank you. Next question is to both Nicola and Cemal. What is one improvement from the new WEkEO website that you find particularly useful, well thought, or efficient? I don't know who wants to answer first. Nicola.
I can answer first, and then yeah, let also Cemal say its own answer. Yeah, for my work, the most relevant feature is the new Harmonized Data Access API. And I think that the link with the website, with all these tutorials and even codes and everything is well thought, very efficient. In a few clicks, we go to the tutorial, we have the code, it's very easy to understand and to implement in your own application, and that's great. I guess that cloud processing also can be really relevant for my work, but I haven't tested it extensively yet. And finally, I think that the data status page, which is pretty much a new feature, I've never seen it before in other DIAs. That's also very interesting for users because if they have some problems with the data set, they can quickly check if there's something going on.
I don't know if it's actually do you consider it a part of the new website or if it's new? Because I didn't test it yet, but the direct access to level 1 data from Jupyter Hub, I think that's very nice. This might actually be a way to the previous question, like if you wanna maybe get only one part of Sentinel-1 or 2 data, it's actually just maybe easier to read it and extract and download it from there. If this is not actually part of the website on your consideration, I have also seen this collection of Jupyter notebooks, kind of like tutorial parts, which I think is very beneficial.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Is WEkEO data access tailored only pan-European use, or is there opportunity for global access?
Well, Copernicus is a European initiative, and some entities are focused on pan-European products like the European Commission or the European Environment Agency. It is true that there is a wide range of global products in WEkEO, so you will be able to find a lot of information that is not just pan-European but global. And in the tags, you can also filter by the range or the areas that is covered.
Okay, great. Next question is to everyone. If you could improve or add one feature to WEkEO, what would it be and why?
The time selector. That's my choice. It was reported, I think, before, but I don't know what's the status about it. But when the data set is long, like if we have the snow products from 2016 to today, it's actually very hard to choose a particular day from this bar. So that's one thing.
You need to zoom into this bar, yeah. Sometimes then it, yeah, maybe not very convenient.
For me, I'd like to be able to download a list of products after a search. So I search my date, I search my area of interest, and then I have all the list of products. But right now you need to click on each product to download it. And I'd like to either download the list or to be able to copy paste this list and send it to the Harmonized Data Access API instead of necessarily developing a code where I need to do this search again. A slight gain of time in my workflow.
Okay, great. Yeah. I don't know, maybe Christian or Alexander, we want to add something. You have any features you would like to?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's one that it's already ongoing, which I find really helpful and useful, is that data sets are becoming viewable. But this is an ongoing effort that it's happening, and by the day, more products are becoming viewable, which I think it's essential when you're exploring data to be able to see, to understand whether you want to move on to downloading it and whether it's useful to you or not.
Okay, great.
And for me, it would be to better connect the dataset and the provider information about this dataset. For example, better connect the documentation and all the information that the provider have that we have that we would like to have as a WEkEO user. But we started to make this evolution, so I hope it will be better.
Okay, great. It's nice to hear. And now we will move to the next question. This question to Cemal. You mentioned several snow products. Are there any products related to snow water content or snow depth or snow density?
There is snow water content, snow water equivalent products, but they are in the global component, not in the high resolution, which can be accessed from Copernicus land monitoring website. And I think I'm not sure which of those are included in WEkEO Viewer. I would expect at least many of them, but there's a long heritage of snow water equivalent, maybe over 30 years. There's data, so this exists, and I don't think there's any snow depth or snow density map-wise products, raster ones. There is one snow depth product that is somewhat new. I don't think it's operational, but the project was named ESA Snow Power, which is producing snow depth for mountainous areas from Sentinel-1. There is that, but I don't have at the moment the info about access to it. It's quite new. So yeah, those.
Yeah, if I can
Okay.
add something, because it's
Yeah,
also
of course,
related a
of
bit
course.
to my work. Snow depth and snow water equivalent are very challenging variables to measure from space, and there is no specific mission that addresses this kind of geophysical variable right now. So we do what we can from Sentinel-1 data and other data sets on a global scale. But well, if it was possible, if it was reliable to observe this at smaller scale, we wouldn't need snow models like for my PhD project. So that's very challenging, and it's not. You can have global estimations at 5 kilometers, 1 to 5 kilometers scale. But if you need a high resolution in mountains, that's still totally a research topic.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you for this addition. We still have some time, so we will proceed to this question. To everyone, what visualization software do you use after downloading data from the WEkEO platform?
Personally, I use mostly Python, and depending on the format as well, any GIS software.
Yeah, first GIS, like QGIS in my case, and then for more automated processing, and I will use Python and some Python visualization tools.
Yeah, I also use QGIS for, it depends on the product, but for the level 2, level 3 products, QGIS is my favorite. But if it's Sentinel-1, 2 data, then I try to use ESA Snap software, which has some things that QGIS wouldn't be able to do with the level 1 data. There's also Panoply, which also helps with some additional tools to prepare it in the way that you want to present somewhere. That also I like.
Okay, thank you. Alexander, you have...
Yeah.
Hmm?
I also use Panoply to quickly see what the data looks like. But I also use QGIS and Python with Matplotlib or HVplot.
Okay. Okay, great. And with that, we will conclude our Q&A session. We still have some questions unanswered, of course, but we don't have much time for that, and many of them are repeating itself. So we will be added to a post-event report, which will be posted on our website. So yeah, be check the website after if you want to see the answers to some of those questions. So thank you very much, our speakers, for this Q&A session, for your answers, for your participation. And one note to add is replace and polls. So on the website of this event, there is two tabs. There is polls tab in which you see the Q&A session. There's also a poll for you to answer some questions. What do you think about this session, about this webinar? It will be very useful, and we would really appreciate your input. And another tab is replace. So we will be available at the end of the day today, along with a certificate of attendance if you need one. And Marina, I guess you want to add something?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say once again, thank you to all our speakers, and thank you for anyone who joined the webinar today. We hope you found the session helpful and informative. Don't forget to join us next week, same time, same place for session 2. We will introduce the WEkEO workspace and drive, and we will hear directly from 2 WEkEO users sharing their experiences with the platform and Copernicus data. So see you next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central European Summer Time. And yeah, thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice
Thank
evening.
you.
Have a nice afternoon.
Goodbye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.